Hi, tech magicians. Let's take a look at what we'll be building today. In today's tutorial, we are going to build a simple blog application using react.js, node.js Express framework hosted on cPanel. I have received some requests that I should build an API that exposes endpoint that can be consumed in our react.js application and host it on cPanel. And today we are going to be seeing how we can be able to do exactly that. In this tutorial,
So
we are
stay
going
tuned.
to be talking about how to take our React.js and Node.js application and host it on cPanel. In the previous tutorial, over there, this video up there, you can see that I hosted my own portfolio that is designed and developed in React.js on cPanel. But over here again, I'm going to develop a React.js project from the scratch and Node.js with Node.js server and host it on cPanel. So you can see over here, I have two directories inside my super blog. So they have the client and the server. The client is just a simple React boilerplate project. So client Maria.js application, and on the server over here, I've installed some packages. So if you open this package.json file, you can see the packages that I've installed. I've installed compression, I've installed cores. Cores stand for cross origin resource sharing. When you want to share resources between two servers, you use this cores. I've installed .env, you want to be reading environment variables. I've installed express, want to set up our express server. I've installed a helmet to be used to set up necessary headers, and I've also installed a dev dependency node mode so that it can be restarting our server whenever we make any changes. And then I went ahead in my script file. I created a start script where it's going to node index.js. I created node mode so that we can be able to use it in our development environment, and I point it to index.js, then test.js, like that. I added other things. So when we come to our env file over here in our root directory or server, I just added a port 5000. That is the port that our server is going to be listening on, and I've added host to the local host. So and I created another directory over here known as config. So normally guys, this is how I structure my project. I normally create a config directory, then create this index.js and import all my env files. Like if you want to call any variable from this environment file, what you normally do is that you prepend the variable name with process.env. You are saying the process, which is a global object dot env environment, should call the name that you have defined, the variable that you have defined in your .env file. So you can have many. You can just the way I have this was let's um, change this host to capital. Since it's a constant, it can never be changed, so it's better to just leave it in that capital. So and I just exported my module.export, exported this so that it can be exposed. I can use it anywhere in my application. So when I come here on this server in this index.js where I've configured my server, I have imported this .env. .env is a package that enables us to read the environment variable. Without this particular package over here, you cannot be able to read the environment variables. So and whenever you install it, make sure that you call it first. So I have imported it from here, and then I call the configuration. This configuration is a function. So I just called it at the top before any other file. Then I imported my express, imported HTTP access, imported course, helmet, compression. So and then let's go ahead and run our basic server and see before we come back and add this middleware. TMD over here, we're already in server directory. So what you are going to do is to say to call node more. So this is a command I called over there. So in our package, in our index dot since our package is still running, let's go ahead and add this middleware. So we just to use a middleware say app dot use. So the first middleware that we're interested in is called Now let's call it, because we're going to pass a configuration, well, so it takes a key of origin. So for the meantime, let's leave it as empty array. And then the next middleware that we want to make use of is app.use helmet. So helmet is a package that and we set the necessary headers for you when you're making a cross-origin request. So from one server to the other, you can see that our React server will be running on port 3000 and our server will be running on port 5000. So for two different servers to connect together, you must configure your CORS. CORS stands for cross-origin resource sharing. So once you configure your CORS, now you tell the CORS which server you should allow request from. So, and the helmet will be responsible for setting the necessary headers for you. Another one is compression. I'm going to use compression. So see it over here. So this compression, what it does is that sometimes you may be sending out a file that is huge. So compression will help you to compress the file so that the receiving end can be able to receive it appropriately. So now let's configure our origin. Is going to our origin is going to be this client app that we want these two servers to be communicating. So how do we do that? So first of all, let's go and define let's name it like that. I will show you in a bit why I name it so. Local client app, and when we copy this down and call it remote. Remember, once we develop this application locally, we are going to host it. So let's call it remote client app. So it's going to be hosted on https superblog. Since we have called the project superblog, superblog.super. There is my domain name that is up there. If it is your domain name, you can just go ahead and point it to this domain name. So our remote client app and our local client app are set. And the next thing is I guess these are the things that we need for now. So let's go ahead and call this in our import all this in our config file. So you go to config over here, you open it, and we call it first. We call it say local client app. So and then we say process dot env dot this. So likewise we do for remote clients underscore app and for process dot env dot remote underscore client underscore app. So now we want okay, another thing is let's create another variable known as another key known as allowed domains. These are the domains that we allow them to communicate with our server. So allowed, call it allowed domains. So and over here it's supposed to be it is an actually supposed to be an array or a string. So since it's going to be more than one, we'll just make it an array so that it can take multiple. So we say if process.env dot and node underscore env, if the node environment is equal to production. Remember, once we are in development, our node environment is going to be in development, and if we host it on a remote server, it's going to be in production. So if this is, let's put um, bracket before that, if that we take this client server remote client server remote client server take remote client server, comma. Um, the next one will be let's it will take we have to this particular server. If the server wants to make request to itself too, it will still take its own step where we'll be hosting our own server. So if we go back to this env file, our server 2 is running on a port, is going to be running on a particular domain. So now let's say our remote server API will be running on. Let's copy this. It is still the same thing with this one, but copy just copy this one, make some few changes. We want to host this one on superblog API. Let's call it superblog API. This is the domain that I want to host this server. Remember, the client is going to be this one is the React app on the remote server, and this one is going to be where we'll be hosting our own React.js server, our own node.js server. So again, so we copy this and make it. This one will be our local local server API. So but our local is going to be on port 5000. So let's copy this over here, change it from 3000 to 5000. This going to be it. And I guess these are the things. So let's go ahead and import it in our config. So the next one, if this allowed domain, allowed, these are the domains that I want to allow. So process dot env dot this. So don't be confused. We have this and this inside an array. So else, if it is not in production, we want to get this client app, get the client app, the local client app, as well as the local remote, the local server API. This one, local server API, local server API. So at the end of the day, those are bracket. So you can see it's an array. So it's going to return string of array. So it is just don't be confused. We just say if process.env.node is equal to production, then it should return this. Return the production variables for us. Keep it so that we understand better. Else, if it is not this, indent this code. Else, if it is not this, if it is in development, it should return this our local. So our origin is going to allow all these stuff. So if you hover over it, it's a string array. So if you want to use it in our node.js server, so once you come over here, we import that allowed origin from config. So now we just pass it this origin in the course, we pass it as allowed domains. So this will be the allowed domains that this course configuration will allow. So with this, we can save our files and test it out. So as our project is running, let's create a simple route that we can go ahead and test our server and see. So all we need to do is to say app.get app.get. So it's going to take a callback that return a request, and then take a callback of request response, and now send our response. So let's just say return response dot send hello world. So once we are done with this, let's go ahead and save it and check it out. So go to file, save all. Because we forgot to call this as a function, and call this one as a function as well. So I'll save it. Test that our app and see if everything is running. Alright, so you can see our hello world that we sent from the server. So you can see over here it is showing what hello world. So you can see that this route, we say default route, that if anyone visits this, you should send the hello world, and it's exactly the same thing that is showing in our browser. So let's go ahead and create a dummy post so that we can send it to our react.js application so that we can be able to display the post from our node.js server. So inside our server, create a directory known as data. Let's call it data. And inside data, we will create an index page, index.js. So inside the index.js, let's do module module.exports. Let's export an array containing post. So our post is going to have an ID of maybe one. We have photo URL. So we will get it later, and it's going to have a description. So let's just say content. We want to keep everything short. So the bootstrap. So it has a React version and different version. So um I will just go. They have a different component that you can be able to use. You can use any library though, but I just want to keep this thing simple in order to save our time. I don't want the tutorial to be long, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab this image that they have over here. So just right click on it and copy the image link. Good. So, but we are going to add another key over here known as title. So maybe we can just cut some very quick example. This just get and drop it over there. Then we'll copy this and duplicate it into 12 times. Alright, so all we have done is that we have created endowment content here. We created ID, post number 1 to post number 12. We have added title, content, and photo URL. Instead of creating an API where we'll be creating our own post, I decided to create a domain content so that we can go ahead and send it to our React.js application. So since we are done with creating and this domain content, all we have to do is to let's go to our index.js server. So if for instance we have this application over here, let's assume they are going to make request to API /API slash post. So they are going to get the post. So first of all, let's import the post at the top. So we do const post is equal to require we have to go one step data. So that is the post over there. So we want to now go ahead and send this post. So we can call JSON over here and send it as JSON. Just call JSON and pass it post. So let's save it and go and check it out and see. Slash posts. Let's hit enter. So you can see that it has sent our post. This is the dummy post that we created.